Hello, today I'm going to show you how to install DD-WRT or the DD-WRT firmware on a Netgear WNR2000 version 3. Now it's a bit of a trick to do this, and I'll show you all the pitfalls and caveats in the process of doing it, just in case you've done it wrong already. So first thing you need to do is get all the software for this router in order to allow it to be upgraded. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is go to Netgear site. So do a Google search for Netgear, then go to the download center, and I'm going to use the product drill down. Okay, next thing you need to do is choose routers, modems and gateways. And then at the bottom of the list, wireless routers, gateway, modem. And then drill down to WNR2000 version 3. Okay, this is a version 3 that I'm doing this on. It may be different with other versions, but I only have a version 3. So we'll go with this. In fact, I know it's different for other versions. So follow this if you have a WNR2000 version 3. Now the first thing you need to get is the lowest level of the firmware version. Let's go take a look here. I'm going to go to my router and show you what I currently have, which is probably what you have. Now the default password and username, the username is admin, lowercase, and the default password is password, all lowercase as well. And as you can see, I have the router firmware version 1.1.2.6, which is the latest version of the software. Okay, so unfortunately, if you have that version and you go to advanced and you go to administration and firmware upgrade, you'll notice that your DD-WRT software doesn't install. Guarantee you it doesn't install. So first let's get this software and I'll show you how to do this. You want the earliest version of the WNR2000 version 3. Now you see that it says NA and WW users. Well, NA means North American and worldwide means, WW means worldwide. So this version covers them both, so it doesn't, it's regardless of where you are. This is a firmware version you need to download. So we'll click on that. And you get the disclaimer, download now. And then at the bottom you'll see, well, here you'll get the registration page, but at the bottom you'll see continue without registering. Click on that. Now I'm using Internet Explorer, so it's asking me open, save, save as. I'm going to choose save as because I want to create put it into a DD-WRT directory that I already made. You make your own folder and put it where you want, but I'm putting it here in DD-WRT 2000 version 3. Okay, I like to put all my software and firmware in the same folder. Now another thing you'll notice here is that it's a zip file, so you have to unzip it to actually use it. So click save here, and I'll show you how to do that in a second. Click save. Some reason it didn't want to download it, but there we go. Now I'm going to click on open folder, and it takes you to your zip file. Okay, so the next thing you want to do here is double click on the zip file, then double click on the folder, and in here you'll see an image file. So single left click on that to highlight it, then right click and choose copy. Then go back to your original folder and then right click anywhere on the white here and choose paste. Okay, so there's your WNR2000 version 3-V1.0.1.26 image file. This is the earliest firmware available from Netgear for this router. And what we need to do before you can put DD-WRT into this router is to downgrade it. Okay, so that's the file that we're going to use to do that, but we'll show you that in a little later. Next, we need to go get the rest of the software we require, because I'm assuming you only have one router, and when you start upgrading this router, you'll be off the internet, and most likely be off the internet, and you want to have all the software to put it back on the internet. So follow my steps and you'll get there. So the next thing we need to do is go get the Dd-Wrt software. And so we're going to go, and then you go to the router database here. And I'm showing you this because this is probably the steps you've taken so far. And if you follow these steps, it will not work. In fact, it will probably result in a bad flash, which means you'll have to recover it. I have a video on how to recover this problem. And you'll see that you have a bunch of firmwares here. Okay. Now, I don't know why, but for some reason, Dd-Wrt has put these firmwares on the web page for you to download and try to install. But if you do try and install them, you're going to have a problem. It's not going to work correctly. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take you to the correct files for this router. And I've got them all in my notepad here. And I'll put this link in the description for you so it's easy for you to go and get and copy, just like I'm copying it here, and paste it into your address. Paste it in there, hit enter, and there's the correct Dd-Wrt files for the WNR2000 version 3. Now, this version here, the 18777, is as high as you can go, I believe, on this router. So, what you want to do, if you're in North America, get the North American image. If you're worldwide, get the worldwide image. You need to get either one of these, depending on where you are, and then the web flash bin. I'm in North America, so I'm going to choose the North American image. I'm going to choose save. I guess I could have chosen save as, but regardless, it's going into the right directory. Let's go here to web flash. And so it's save. Okay, I'm going to choose save as this time. And into the Dd-Wrt directory, which is the default at this point anyway for me. If you open the folder, now you'll see that you got the North American image, the original image, or the 1.0.1.26 image from Netgear, and a web flash bin as well. All which are required. Now, if you went for the worldwide image, then you have the WW image here. Okay, so we're almost done on getting all the software we require. The next thing you need to do is you need to get a piece of software called TFTP client software. And what it does is I'll show you what it does. So what we need to get is a file called TFTP2.exe. Okay, and I didn't put the dot in there. I just put TFTP2 and space exe, because otherwise it would have thought it was some sort of browser, some sort of web address, and we didn't want to go there. So just do a Google search for TFTP2 and space exe, and then you'll see there's a Netgear link here. So let's go to that Netgear link. That's where you want to go to get this software. So you scroll down here and you'll see near the bottom of the page, download TFTP client software, TFTP2.exe. So that's where we want to go. We'll click on that. Scroll to the bottom of the page, and the second from the bottom is TFTP.exe. So here I'll just do a save as again. And as you can see, it goes into my Dd-Wrt version 3, whatever. So that's where I want to put it. That's where all my files are going. You put it wherever you want. Okay. At which point here, we'll open the folder. And now you'll see that you got TFTP2 and all the other files required to make this happen. So next step is to, we'll close my browser up here. Actually, I'm not going to worry about that right now. Your next step will be to set your router up correctly. In other words, you're going to have to physically connect your router with a hard network cable between the LAN port and your laptop LAN port or your computer LAN port. And I'll show you how to do that next, and we'll go from there. I'm going to show you how to place it into a boot mode that allows you to send a firmware package to it through TFTP. On the back you'll notice all the ports, and to the right of those ports there you'll see that there's a little red dot. Now that's the reset switch. If you take a screwdriver or a paper clip or any kind of object that fits in there, you'll hear that. You can hear the clicking of the reset switch, okay? Just like that. Then the thing you need to do is place your object in there, hold it down, and while you're holding it down, power up the router and keep holding that pressure down on that. Then you'll see that the amber light on the power will go on. It'll flash, but eventually it's going to turn green. Okay, once it turns green, you count the number of flashes and you count 10 flashes, okay? So I'll start now. It doesn't really matter when you start. And once it flashes 10 times, then you can remove your screwdriver or paper clip or whatever you were using, and the device will stay in that state. Okay, this router is now ready to accept a firmware flash through a TFTP file transfer. Okay, so your next step is plug it into your laptop with a network cable, and make sure that you do this on the LAN ports, not the WAN port. Otherwise it won't work. Just choose any one of the LAN ports, and then just plug the other end into your laptop or your computer if you have a computer instead of a laptop. And that's how you set that up. Alright, so you set your router up into the default TFTP boot mode that I just showed you how to do. You've got it physically connected with a hard cable as instructed. Then the next thing you need to do is go down here to the bottom right and set your network settings correctly. So open up the Network and Sharing Center. Go to Change Adapter Settings. And I got a wireless connection and a local area connection. We want to disable the wireless so that we absolutely do not well, basically, by disabling the wireless, there's no way that you can do the upgrade that we're going to do, or the firmware upgrade we're going to do through wireless. Never, ever, ever do a wireless a wireless firmware upgrade. So right-click your wireless network connection, choose Disable. We'll re-enable it when we're done. And then go to your local area connection, highlight it, and then we're going to go to Properties. Under Properties, go to Internet Protocol version 4, double click it, and if yours is set like mine, it's set to obtain an IP address automatically, and DNS server address automatically as well. So you need to hard code these numbers in, because when you set your router into the default TFTP boot mode, then it won't be giving you an IP address and you won't be able to get to it. So let's go here and let's put in 192.168.1.10. Okay, your router is on .1, as you see down here, the default gateway. So you can't use 1, and you can't use a number higher than 254. So 10 is fine. Choose what you want. It's okay. Just don't choose 1 and don't go above 254. All right. So next, click on the subnet mask box, and you'll see that it populates automatically. So that number is fine. 255.255.0 is fine. And 192.168.1.1 as the default gateway is okay as well. It's perfect, actually. Then here under preferred DNS server, 192.168.1.1. Now, don't worry about these settings, because when we're done, we're going to reset them back to the default settings, and everything should work just as it should. Okay, so click OK here. OK. Now you can close this this panel up, this window up. And at this point, we're ready to TFTP flash this router, or downgrade this router. So that's our next step. So you'll see here at the bottom right that my network icon's doing a little squirrely thing there. That's because it's in the router is set into the default TFTP mode. Let's go to our C drive and our DD-WRT folder and open up TFTP2. That's our next step. So double click on TFTP2. Security warning, yeah, run. Okay, and it took a little while, but yours will probably open up unpopulated, and so I'll make mine look like that. Okay, so the server is going to be 192.168.1.1, and the file you're going to use first off is the default image file, not the default image file, but the first image file we downloaded from Netgear, which will downgrade your router to its lowest denominator, which was version 1.0.1.26 image. Okay, so let's go here. Choose that file. Click open, and your router should be blinking green right now and ready to accept this. Click upgrade. You get your blue progress bar. That's how you know it's worked. Okay. So now we're going to wait a little bit. I'm going to do this real time so you understand how long it takes this router to actually reinitialize after doing this upgrade. Like I said, just follow these steps step by step and you'll get to the end result. Again, I really like this Netgear router because it has that default TFTP mode. Even when I put in the wrong image files from DD-WRT and I thought I bricked my router, you can actually put it into the default TFTP mode and re-image it with the old version 1.0.1.26 image file that I have up there, and it brings it back to life. I have a couple of videos on that on my channel as well. Okay, so the router now has an amber power light and a solid number 2, which is where my network cable is. I also have an amber internet light because it's plugged into my modem too. But I'm still waiting for that for all the lights to turn the right colors, which would be a green power light, a green internet light, and a wireless light, a blue wireless light. It does take a while. And I think a lot of people are running into the problem of not waiting long enough for this to happen, and therefore thinking that they bricked a router or something, and that's not the case. It takes a long time for this router to reinitialize. Okay, so after a little waiting, I have a green power light, a green internet light, blue wireless connection light, and a green port light, as well as a green WPS light, which basically tells me the router is up and running. So let's go check it out. 192.168.1.1. Of course, it's going to ask me for username and password. Username is admin, lowercase, and the default password is password, all lowercase. And as you can see, we've downgraded the firmware on the router successfully to version 1.0.0.1.26. So it's asking you here if you want to, upgrade on the net. I was going to say no, because it's definitely not what we want to do. Next, you get an option to browse for a new firmware to upgrade, so that's what we're going to do. And the firmware to upgrade now is the WNR2000 version 3 factory_NA, or if you've gotten the WW, then factory_WW.image. So click on that, click open, and click upload. Okay, now I got a blinking power light, and as you can see, it says it will take about 3 minutes for this firmware upgrade to complete. Once it's complete, you'll have the first stage of your DD-WRT firmware installed. There is a second stage, and that is the bin file, the web flash bin file. It has to be done as well. The one thing you'll notice when you have the DD-WRT installed in this Netgear is that the router seems to just be so much faster at going through pages and doing what it's supposed to do in the router page. As I said, I'm impressed with this router. I think it's a good little router. It does a fine job doing what it's supposed to do. And I'll do some further videos on it as well. Again, after you're done all this, check out my other videos, as I have a video on how to downgrade it from a failed flash, or even if you successfully set the router with DD-WRT, the downgrade will work anyway, in case you want to go back to the original firmware. And I currently have a solid green light, internet light, a blue wireless light, and a green light on my port number for the wire that I have connected directly to the router. My WPS light is not on though, but that just may be the way this router, this temporary firmware that we've put in here, works. As I said, this is the preliminary step to a two-step process to getting the Dd-Wrt software running on your WNR2000 version 3. And I'm doing it real time, so you understand how much time there is involved in doing this. Okay, so now it's come back and it says router name, username. Well, you have to put this information in. I'm just going to use the defaults, admin here, and password, all lowercase. Again, you can use whatever you'd like. You can change it afterwards as well. It's a default security setting for Dd-Wrt. And as you can see, I now have Dd-Wrt installed. But as I said, this is a preliminary version. What you need to do still is flash it one more time to the full version. So go to Administration, to the Administration tab, click on Firmware Upgrade, choose Browse, and the last flash is right there. WNR2000 version 3 web flash bin. That's what you want. So click on that, choose Open, and then choose Upgrade. Again, I'll do this real time so you know how long it takes. It won't take this full time, by the way. It won't take 266, 265 seconds, fortunately. But this is a process that requires a bit of patience. And as you can see up the top, it says DD-WRT build 18777. That, I believe, is as high as you can go with this flash, but hey, it works great, and it gives you the DD-WRT firmware in your router. So upgrade successful is a good thing to see. Currently my router has an amber light. All the lights have turned off, so I'm thinking that it's rebooting. Now I have a flashing port light, a flashing internet light, and that's it. Amber. The light on the internet is amber. Okay, now I have a solid power light, a amber internet light, a blue wireless connection, and a number 2 solid flashing. Now, okay, so, and the WPS light is no longer on. So at this point, we've got DD-WRT installed in our router. Okay, and as you can see, I do have a WAN IP address, which means I'm on the internet. There's my, if you want to find out about your firmware at this point, this is what it's all about. And let's go to status here. And you see that DD-WRT Netgear WRN version 3, build 18777, and we're fully installed at this point. So just look at, well, I guess let's go to system info, and you see your information on your router. It's quite nice. My current rate of connection is 1444. I believe this router will go all the way up to 300. So, all right, so you've successfully updated your firmware on your WNR 2003 to the DD-WRT firmware. Next thing you need to do is set your network settings back to the normal. So change adapter settings and re-enable your wireless if you have it. And then, okay, here we go, back down here. All right, and then go to your local area connection, right-click that, go to Properties, TCP/IP version 4, and change that back to Obtain Automatically, Obtain DNS server address automatically and IP address automatically. Hit OK. Okay. And now you'll see that if you're still connected physically to your router, that this is going to give you a different IP address. Now you have IP address of 192.168.124. Okay, but at least it's getting one, and that's the way it should work. All right. So once you've done that, you're done upgrading your Netgear WNR 2003 version 3 to the Dd-Wrt software. Okay, thank you very much for watching, and have a great day.